Hello everyone. Alright, so this is going to be more of a guided tour because usually when I will build the structure first, and if I'm happy with it, I'll tear it down, then film myself rebuilding it. Otherwise, my build videos would be incredibly long. It takes me forever to really figure out exactly what I want my builds to look like, and I go back and forth a lot. So with this one, I built the majority of it without decorating, and then discovered two mods, one called Vanilla Extensions, and the other Thematic and Practical, which a few of you told me about. And these mods gave me so many more items to build with, and I kept adding to what I built and didn't want to scrap the whole thing and then rebuild it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is show you what I built and then briefly go over how I did it. So starting off, in my last mod video, the mod of the week was Conquest, which allows you to essentially create and build a settlement anywhere you want. I've had this mod for a while, and for some reason the idea of building wherever I want didn't click in my head, so I never really used it. But after I went over it in that last video, I decided to test it out. And there's another one that I use called Pocket Vehicles, which turns me into a UFO, but allows me to fly around, which is definitely comes in handy. It's a bit glitchy if I'm going too fast, but other than that, it's pretty useful. So basically with this build, what I did was I flew around the Commonwealth looking for a really cool place to create a settlement. So I'm over here by Diamond City, and I found these really cool skyscrapers. Now when building outside of a normal settlement, you kind of have to watch out for enemy spawn points. There's one down here in the lobby and another over here where all of these raiders are. So far I haven't really had to deal with them, but we'll see how that goes. Oh, and that's Diamond City over there, just so you guys can see where I'm at. But yeah, I was just flying around here and I found some really cool spots inside these broken up walls. And they look kind of empty, but I think that's because, I wouldn't have been able to come up here if it hadn't been for this mod. But I do fill it out and make it come to life. So I just wanted to show you guys where I built. And it's just all along the side over here. But the first thing I'm going to do is give you guys a silent tour and take you through the finished product, and then I'll come back and explain how I did certain things. So yeah, let's take a look. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. I thought the build came out pretty cool, but definitely let me know what you think. So I'm just going to go over this briefly. I wanted a way up that made sense, and I found this gap in the building, so I decided to build something similar to a fire escape or like scaffolding for construction. And it was pretty easy actually. I didn't have to do much. I just placed down the scaffolding frame first and then literally snapped everything else to it. I didn't do much decorating because I kind of wanted to make it look like, you know, this was already here and not too appealing. But I did place this door up here to make it look a little more secure because we are right next to a raider camp. And you are going to see some new items that I haven't built with before, which I got from the two mods I mentioned earlier, and I'll go over those in way more detail in my next mod video. But yeah, I didn't do too much with this entry walkway area. I wanted a lot of this to look very scrappy and somewhat stable. You know what, let me just start from the top. Let me just get to where I started. Alright, so the first thing that I placed down was this little floor piece. And then I just kind of snapped everything else around it, except for these planks. I get these planks from Workshop Rearranged, and I kind of placed these all around it to make it look not so straight and just a little more thrown together, I guess. I think it gives it a little bit more character. I love these floorboards because they look great, first of all. They snap to each other and are pretty forgiving whenever you're trying to place them down. Right, okay, so I just snapped all of these floor pieces together, and then I snapped the angle bridge you get from Workshop Rearranged, and then a ladder to that. But at the bottom here, I wanted to do like a sharp turn along the side of the building, so I got out this floor piece and used Place Anywhere to get it right here, and then I just snapped everything else from there. If you don't use Place Anywhere, you can just do the reverse and place down this ladder right here and then snap everything else to that leading up to the top of the walkway. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of difficult to explain without actually showing you, but it's all pretty simple. You are basically snapping from two different sides and just meeting in the middle. But alright, let's keep it moving. Oh, I wanted to show you this. So this is from the mod Vanilla Extensions. It's a lamp post that you can basically snap anywhere you want, and then you can snap an oil lamp to that. It's, you know, it's pretty awesome. I just want to show you. Alright, here's another example of the floorboards. Really, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but all I did was place down this ladder over here, snap all the other floor pieces to that, and then place the floorboards on top. It's a very simple process to get the foundation down, and then you can pop on the railings and all the other decorations. It's the same thing with this ladder. The ladder is snapping to the floor piece, and then I just snapped everything else to the ladder all the way up. I'm just using new items from these two mods that make a lot of this look complex. Now up here I use Place Anywhere for two pieces, this blue angled floorboard and the bridge piece up top that I'll show you in just a minute. But yeah, I snapped the longer floor piece to this floorboard, and then I placed down a smaller floor and then just snapped the stairs and everything else to that. All the way up until I got to this bridge, which I used Place Anywhere to get it at this angle, that way it connects the floor and the ladder below. Oh, and all of these angled railings are from the Vanilla Extensions mod. Really, there are a ton of items from that mod, and they work so well. Like, I didn't have to use Place Anywhere for this. You see how it goes green whenever I place it alongside that bridge? They're just so forgiving and look awesome. Alright, so you remember the Pocket Vehicles mod that I mentioned earlier? Well, I found out that you can use that mod in Workshop mode. And check it out, I'm just flying around while in Workshop mode. This made it so much easier to build all the supports around my walkway. I mean, of course you can build out some floor pieces and ladders so you can get underneath to build, but I can't tell you how many times I fell. And I finally just got desperate and tried this out, and it worked. So yeah, that's how I built this cage underneath, which is there in case someone comes up and, you know, they'll just fall through the trapdoor for a little added security. And you know what? I just realized how much better it would be if I didn't have the cage underneath. So like instead of falling through the trapdoor into a cage, they would just fall all the way down. God, I need to change that. That'd be so much better. And way more Fallout-esque, you know? Anyway, all I did was fly around and put these wall supports from Workshop Rearranged under the flat parts of the walkway. That way they look a little more secure, and then on the other side where my balcony is, I just used the shack supports and they just snapped onto the floor piece right there. So yeah, just popped those on and then got a railing from the Vanilla Extensions mod. And then those were actually forgiving. Those turned green whenever I placed them right next to the wall, so that's pretty cool. And then I just snapped the other ones to it. So yeah, that's a quick run through of the outside, so let's take a look at the inside. Alright, so in here it's pretty straightforward. All I did was place a floor piece on top of the red railing that was already here, and then snapped a cross beam to the floor, and then metal railings under that. And from there it was literally just snapping everything else together. It's a very, very simple process. Like with these posts, all I did was snap them together. The posts snapped to the floor, and then the wall supports to them, and then the cross beams all the way to the wall. So it's very simple. And over here I'm using a tall junk fence from Workshop Rearranged, and then some posts and cross beams to fill in the gaps and to make a little doorway. I showed the building of a doorway using posts and cross beams in my boat settlement video. So if you want to check it out, I'll have a link to it in the description. And last part, literally all I did in the bedroom area was snap 2 walls to the corner over here to make a shower area place, and then snap roofs to those walls. That's it. And the walls and doorways leading to the balcony, I had to use Place Anywhere to get them in. You could also use the pillar glitch, but I mean that's really about it as far as the structure goes. But I really hope you guys like this build. I'm sorry I had to fly through it. You get it, because I was literally flying with the mod, right? Just, oh, that was... here we go. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and for your support as always. I apologize I didn't post this sooner, but I am back on schedule this week. So definitely let me know what you think in the comments. Any questions, please let me know. I've been getting a ton of comments recently, which is great, but I've just had a hard time responding to everyone. I try to respond to at least the people who have questions, so give me a few days to get back to you and I'll try my hardest to get your question answered. Everyone else, I do read your comments, all of them, and I really appreciate all the kind words and feedback, so don't think your comment is going unnoticed. But thanks again, please give this video a like, and I will talk to you soon.